Okay, so AYE, you might have to mute. Like everybody just mute, so like it's easy that way. I think it's much more clearer now. So this is much more better. All right. So hi everyone. Nice to have everyone here. It's been a long dream of ours to be able to bring this to life. This has been a process in the works for the last few months, and we're incredibly happy to be right here, right now, be able to catch up together and discuss, invite speakers, and most importantly, create the community that I feel like we should have had for a long time, but no better time than now. So basically, start with the introductions. The agenda has been shared on the events page. If Maureen could just share screen, please. All right. Okay, nice. So yeah, welcome to the first Tableau user group meeting. And it's basically the theme for today. It's unlocking data potential. And also welcome to Lagos TUG first meeting too. It's like I said, it's been a long time coming, and we are more than excited. I mean, if you could see everyone's faces, you would see the excitement on everyone's faces, but you can for sure see the excitement on my face and Maureen's face. So we're more than excited to have this. And Maureen, if you could go to the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, join us, be a part of the Tableau Data Farm in Lagos, Nigeria. We are dedicated to building a supportive and inclusive community for enthusiasts in Lagos and Nigeria at large. Our mission is to connect Tableau users of all skill levels from beginners to experts, fostering an environment where members can, share knowledge, network, and grow their data visualization skills. We are committed to promoting, yeah, this is much better. Thanks. We are committed to promoting data-driven decision making and showcasing the talent and innovation within the local Tableau community. And if you scan this barcode that you see on the page, it will take you directly to join the chapter if you've not already joined by now. So you should definitely scan it and be a part of us, join us, be the first person to know about whatever events we are going to be having next. Next slide, Maureen. So yes, meet the Lagos TUG leaders. First is Kehinde Ayodeji, works at Ox Intelligence as a data analyst. Then myself and Maureen and Mr. Idris. So sure everyone is more than happy to be here. Kehinde, we should probably be seeing the smile on your face. So yeah. So first, Kehinde, introducing Kehinde. She's a data analyst at Oaks Intelligence. She's focused on helping individuals enhance their Tableau skills and navigate their data visualization journey. She's a passionate Tableau lover, recognized 3 times for the Vizzes, and member of the Tableau Next 2024 cohort, which is like an amazing initiative by the data farm, winner of the Out of the Box Thinker in Data DNA's March 2023 challenge, and mentioned 4 times on the weekly Data Farm blog that we get to see on Twitter and LinkedIn on Fridays. During our, when she's not visiting or when she's not at work, she enjoys watching movies, excluding horror. I could probably get why, and finds relaxation through sightseeing. So I Kehinde. And then next is myself. I'm a data visualization developer at Magnet. I'm a Tableau ambassador for 2023, 2 times winner of Visits, Biggest Growth 23, and Notable Newbie 2022, and 6 Vis of the Day nominations at Tableau Public. Outside, I love Manchester City, best club in England. Love going to the gym, whiskey, newfound side thing, and Pinterest and spending time on Pinterest, just going through several things, So And then next, meet Maureen. She's a Tableau analytics consultant at Swift Insights Consulting. She is the current notable newbie Visas Award, like at the most recently concluded Tableau conference. If you've seen her profile in the last, few months to a year, she's been doing amazing stuff and has 3 Visa of the nominations to show for that. She likes, if this is big, so like she just likes going to visit restaurants, and the sleeping one is for fun. Like she's always busy working and looking for the next views to build. So I really much doubt that sleeping one. But yeah, you can follow her on X as that Tableau girl, and also like the rest of us as well. And then finally, we have Idris Akilakba. Is a risk and compliance analyst at Flutterwave. Couldn't write the compliance because of the space. He specializes in Tableau, Power BI, and Ultrix development. Is a big guy in the Tableau data farm, especially in Nigeria here. 2-time Tableau Public Ambassadors 2022 and 2023. 4 years of experience building amazing visualizations. You should probably and most definitely check his most recent visualization about like dates and calculations and all of that out. He loves playing video games. I think COD most especially. And when he's not doing that, he's probably on Netflix finding the next Supercell movie to watch, something like that. Yeah. So basically for the meeting, we have just 3 ground rules. There is a chat section where you would have Israel in the chat section talking and like replying everyone. So please feel free to say hello, interact with the rest of the audience in the chat section, get to know everyone, and get to familiarize. And there is the Q&A section where you get to ask your questions. You just post your questions, and the selected questions, as many as could be answered, would be answered live at the end of each speaker session. And then 3, and most importantly, you should try to learn, have fun, make notes, pay attention to things that are being said. And most importantly, you would definitely get to see the videos uploaded on our YouTube channel and also sent to everyone's mail, as we got the invitation for this meeting. Meet the speaker. So first we have Zainab Ayodimeji. She's been a huge part of the community in Nigeria here, and also before she traveled outside. She's a data scientist at Spotify. And then we also have Michael Fademile, a senior data analyst at Atos. Yep. All right. Yeah, so more about Zainab. So Zainab is a data scientist based in the UK with experience in tech, consulting, energy, and fintech. Her expertise in data visualization, metric science, and statistical analysis, as well as communicating insights effectively, has consistently driven impactful outcome for businesses. As an active voice in the visualization community and in Tableau data farm, especially Zainab has spoken at multiple events. You should definitely check out our last session at the Tableau conference. Was like amazing, and she's currently a Tableau public ambassador. Additionally, she co-leads the London Tableau User Group, so she's quite familiar with everything we're doing here, even though this is our first time. And further showcases commitment to the data community. Outside of work, she likes to play action adventure video games, and you would definitely catch them talking about music and what she enjoys listening to. And for Fisayo, is a data analyst at Althouse by day and a budding analytics engineer by night. 3 years of experience of Tableau under his belt. Is for the community and everything around it. Is a featured author on Tableau Public. He constantly explores new and creative ways to build visits. Definitely check out his profile. His idea of a party is more than dashboard. Involves more dashboard than disco balls. And while he's not out geeking over data, you'd find him watching the sea waves, playing video games, or supporting Manchester United. So should definitely follow him on Twitter as well as Zainab. So, yep. So yeah, our 2 speakers will be talking about different parts of what we have today, and Zainab will be going first, harnessing the full potential of community challenges. So, Maureen, if you could stop sharing, and Zainab, you have the floor. Nice to have you.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy that Lagos TUG is finally a thing. Thanks for inviting me. So I'm just going to figure out how to share my screen. Let me know when you see it. Fantastic. I have a slightly different title, but I'm sure that's fine. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Zainab. I'm a data scientist at Spotify. I've been at Spotify for over 3 years now. I'm a Tableau Public Ambassador for, I think, 4 times now. And I also co-lead the London TUG. I think I've been a co-lead for 2-ish years. Yes, so I'm based in London as well. And so okay, so this is going to be slightly like shorter version of the talk I presented in at the Tableau conference that was just concluded in San Diego in May. So if you've watched this, I'm sorry that there might be some repetition, but if you haven't, well, stay tuned. Okay, so 5 years ago, I put out this tweet just kind of saying that I must be prepared for when Spotify needs a business analyst in about 5 years. So this was 2018, right? And then 3 years or less than 3 years later, this in 2021, I also put out on that to kind of saying that like, oh, I joined Spotify as a data scientist. So how did I do it, right? I mean, apart from my mom's prayers and just luck and everything aligning, but like really like how did I do it? How did I go from just having this declaration to saying that actually joining a company that I love so much? So yeah, this talk is going to be a story of passion, dedication, and consistency, but also talking about how I leverage Tableau Public and Data Farm, which is like the Tableau community online, to achieve my career dreams. And then I'll also share like, so as I'm telling my story, so it's mostly my story, but as I'm telling my story, I'll share like knowledge and learnings that I've gathered across my journey, as well as practical tips that you can apply to achieve your own career dreams, right? And I think in the intro, what I said, I love music is true. I'm always talking about music, and yeah, I love music. So these are some of my favorite artists from last year, mix of Nigerian and British artists, Little Sims, Ray, Ashake. And my Spotify raps last year tagged me a hypnotist, like someone that is like playing an album all the way through. And I'm truly, truly an album person, if you know me. So it's no surprise that like in 2017, when I moved from Nigeria to the UK for my master's degree, one of the first things I did was Spotify, because Spotify was not available in Nigeria at the time. And so I remember I was like waiting on the line to register. I had school free Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, you know what, this is the time. And instantly, like I was connected to the local sound, like the artists, like what people were listening to in the UK. And I was just like blown away. And yeah, I had like many versions of like, what is this magic? Like, what has been cooked into this app? And well, it turns out that it wasn't magic at all, right? It was just like an incredible, incredible recommendation system. And I think this just like sparked something in me. Like I was just curious. I think around the time Netflix was also kind of popping and everybody was talking about like their recommendation system. Now, coming from an engineering background, and like doing engineering, I actually opted for this course called Modeling and Classification of Data. Right. The whole idea is, imagine if you had like a bunch of objects, right? And then you take attributes of this object. By the way, like feel free to like drop messages, anything in the chat. I will answer as I'm going. I don't know why I can answer at the end. But anyway, yeah. So like imagine you have like a bunch of objects, and so that these objects have like attributes. So they have like length or different shapes or like weight, color, just attributes that you can measure. And then you start to kind of cluster or classify the attributes together. So in this particular case, you might want to like cluster it by shapes. And I think this is like, it forms a very like ideal, like the very foundation of like, you see a lot of classification tasks in machine learning where you're measuring attributes and trying to classify data. And I found this so fascinating. Like it felt more advanced than the statistics that I was exposed to for my bachelor's, I don't know, my bachelor's project, where it was just very like simplistic. And through this course, I think that was one of the first times I heard about the word or the term data science. And so this was kind of where I found my purpose, because I mean, I have an engineering background, but I wasn't really one that knew exactly what they wanted out of life. I was mostly like a vibes person, like just coasting through life. But when I came across data science, I really felt like, I found my purpose. And bear in mind, I didn't mention this, but I had a gap year between like NYSC and master's, my master's degree. And I was already kind of learning programming in that year. So data science really felt like a good marriage between like the programming that I was already interested in and like this newly found affinity for data. And yeah, I mean, like what every other person would do, I went online, I started looking for courses that I could take. And one of the courses that I took that really like stood out to me was this Udacity nano degree. It's called Data Foundations. Now, I couldn't afford a nano degree at the time. I was lucky enough to get a scholarship. I think I just found it randomly online that there was this company giving us scholarships to do nano degrees. And so that's how I found this course. And it was an introductory course. You had like SQL intro, like data visualization. And in this data visualization was the first time I heard about Tableau, first time using Tableau. And so one of the first tips that I want to share today is like, if you are starting out as an analyst or like doing data visualization or data science, I would highly recommend that you learn the basics. I mean, you can try to skip over it, but I've found that learning the basics will forever make you stand out. So for example, in data analysis, you might want to learn like the basics of like descriptive statistics, like what's different between like mean, median, mode, like what's the standard deviation, when do I use the different types of aggregation? Because at the end of the day, what makes you truly stand out as a data analyst or data scientist, how well you're able to tell stories with data, how you're able to like reveal those insights, and just having that foundational skill will give you an edge, right? And with data visualization, again, like you just want to know what are the different types of charts out there. If I'm trying to understand seasonality, maybe I want to use like a line chart. If I want to have like a geographical view, maybe I want like a map. But really just understanding when to use what, best practices, how to not tell lies with visuals, because we are all visual beings. And sometimes the way you present your insights can be misleading. So there are many like different ways to learn like these basics, but I highly recommend not skipping it because it will really, really take you far. And definitely pick up one technical skill, right? Like if you are into like BI, you can use Tableau. I mean, there are other like Power BI and stuff, but this is the Tableau User Group. So download Tableau. Query language, I always recommend like learning some SQL skills. And then when it comes to coding, like, I mean, I feel like some people are scared of coding. I personally find it to be fun. So at least try it out. So like Python has so many different fantastic libraries for like data analysis or data exploration, or like R. So at the end of this, just like try to pick up a technical skill in addition to like the foundational learnings from, the analysis and the visualization. All right. So back to my story. In 2019, I actually moved back to Nigeria. And then in Nigeria, I worked in fintech, I worked in energy consulting. And one thing that I also did was join a data visualization community. Now, Abby Onish is my friend. She started this VV's community in Lagos at the time, and she's actually the first Tableau visionary from Africa. If you don't know what a Tableau visionary is, it's kind of like you have ambassadors, people that give back to the community, and then like visionaries are like the goats, like they are above the ambassadors. So she started this community, and a friend told me. So I was going. It was in person at the time. I think through this community, I was able to actually see how different companies are using data visualization for decision making. So it's not just a chart, it's not just a dashboard, it's like an actionable thing that business owners are like using to make billions of dollars worth of decisions, right? And that's also how I heard about like Biz of the Day, Tableau Public. If you don't know what Tableau Public is, it's like the free version of Tableau that you can actually use for free and share your work as well. I also participated in a Visathon. I'm not going to lie to you, like my Tableau skills was crap. Like if you zoom into this picture, you see that it's like bubble chart and like probably not the chart, but I was there for emotional support. But it was fun to just like connect with people that were into data, just like network and have fun together. And then all of this 2019, right? Then 2020 happened. Obviously, like in 2020, the world went upside down. Like many things happened, many different things to many different people. But for me, like 2020 was a really, really pivotal year because everything went virtual, which meant that like all of a sudden we had access to this like global community of data people that didn't seem like we could reach out to initially. And so one review session that we had was one with Sarah Bartlett, and they essentially told us, hey, you know, Sarah wants to come speak with us. She's a Tableau visionary. Prepare like a Makeover Monday challenge because she's ready to give anybody feedback. Now, Makeover Monday is like this weekly data visualization challenge where every week a data set is posted. Everybody tries to like visualize it or tell the stories the way they see fit, and then before, like at the end of the week, there was like a review session where like they'll review and give feedback on some of the visits. I think that review session has stopped, but Makeover Monday is still a thing. But anyway, at the time they asked us, you know, if you do the particular Makeover Monday data set for that week, Sarah would give you feedback. And me wanting to support my friend with my terrible Tableau skills, I came up with this this board, right? This was one of the first kind of dashboards that I built. I mean, if I had to ask you what this dashboard was, you probably would struggle to tell me, which is why one of the first feedback that Sarah gave me was, hey, maybe you want to give it a bolder, clearer title, right? And she also said, so this dashboard is actually about female gender mutilation in Tanzania. And so she was like, or also have like an action, a call to action, right? So like this like images or logos, like what do they do? So let make it a call to action, like somebody can click into it. And then another feedback that she gave me was that like there's so many bars, like bars on bars on bars, like maybe I want to switch it up, try different types of charts. And then I had like on the right side, I had like these filters that you couldn't tell what they applied to. The colors, you don't know like what chart they applied to. It was just all over the place really. And so I took all that feedback, and then I kind of tried to redo the visualization and came up with this. I still think it looks cool. I wouldn't say it's my best work still, but coming from where I was, I thought this was much better. So I made the title kind of bigger, bolder, all of these like icons. Now you can click into it to find out more about this like initiative, to read more, to donate. And then I also added context, right? So this text tells you, okay, it's about girls and women that have been affected by FGM, where the data set comes from. And I employed this thing called dot plot. So dot plot, as the name says, like just dots, and each dot you see here represents a girl or a woman that had been affected by FGM in Tanzania. And I just feel like it's such a nice way to kind of humanize the data set, right? Where it's like, oh, behind all of these numbers that you're seeing is actual human beings. And it's just disaggregating the view is a nice way to kind of just, you know, cause a bit more impact. And then I did a lot of things. I kind of switched up the chat and everything. And I was happy by everything I'd done that I went onto Twitter and I was like, hey, you know, I've come a long way revising my base, and I tagged Sarah and, you know, I kind of made a thread of everything that I did. And then the following week, Sarah gave me a shout out. She was like, hey, my first Tableau FF. So Tableau FF is like this hashtag people use to like shout out people, is me, because I took all of the feedback, etc. And I believe this was my own personal entry into the community. This was my foray into the data farm, like we call it, because from that tweet that Sarah made, many people started to follow me. I started to follow people. I started to find other people doing Makeover Monday as well. And this was just my own like moment to enter into the data farm. And so, yeah, another tip I would say is like connect with local and online data. If you're on this call, you've already kind of crossed one of the barrier because you're trying to connect. I would say follow like all the visionaries and ambassadors on LinkedIn or Twitter. because they're always sharing like tips, they're always sharing blogs, tutorials, what's new, opportunities, jobs, like anything. I would say like they are like the best people to start with following. Tune into any visualization review. So if you see like any like video or any like, any tutorial reviewing a viz, I think I particularly found that super helpful, and I would highly recommend. Also, like requests for feedback, you can reach out to people privately. Or what I used to do with Makeover Monday was like I would just post it and see if you have any feedback, please share it with me. And people will reach out to you like privately, even publicly, which is good. And if you also search the hashtag data farm on social media, you'd find many people that you can connect with. Again, I'm just reiterating, yes, seek feedback is so important. But then I also particularly wanted to call out the Viz office hours. So this is an initiative run by Michelle Freeman and Nicole Klassin. They are both based in America, but they have like timings across like multiple time zones. So I'll highly recommend that you kind of search Viz office hours and like, sign up to have your work reviewed. If you, build up the confidence. They're really nice people. They won't thrash you completely, I promise. And so with Makeover Monday, I just started to do it every single week for the next 6 months. Like I was obsessed, like 2 a.m. up at night doing Makeover Monday, with Makeover Monday. And not just Makeover Monday, so there are other like community initiatives as well that you can participate in. So there's Viz for Social Good. This is an initiative that aims to tell the stories of companies or like NGOs, organizations that are giving back to community. So this particular Viz I did was about a healthcare outreach in Australia, and I really just tried to capture like their impact, especially in COVID, etc. There's also like diversity in data. This is more about having like diverse data sets, telling diverse stories with data, because let's be honest, most of the time the data sets that you see are not really diverse. They're really about like maybe first word, not necessarily like first word, but it's just like telling singular stories. So I really like this initiative. And so this one I did is about like corporate America, like looking at Fortune 500 companies and seeing the number of CEOs that are like women, and you can see that kind of red slash that you see underneath at the share is the share of women. I think it's just an impactful visualization. I like it. It's one of my favorite ones. So that's another initiative that you can participate in. Then there's Iron Viz. Iron Viz isn't a community initiative, but it's a competition. It's one of the biggest data visualization competition. This is run by Tableau. I think they definitely have some geographical restrictions, so not everybody can like enter for the prize money, but I still recommend like looking it up, seeing what other people are doing, or even trying it out yourself. So when I tried it out, I did a viz about one of my favorite movies of all time, Sound of Music. I watched Sound of Music about 10 times, pulling out the data, like trying to figure out, okay, which songs were sung in the movie, like at what time, like timestamps of the songs and everything. But just participating enough. I didn't make it to the final, obviously, but I learned a lot from the process of just entering. And then there's also like Iron Quest. Iron Quest is run by the same Sarah. And this every other like month or so, there's like a theme that is released. This particular one that I did the theme was around mobile, because most of the visualizations or dashboards that you would build are best for desktop. And so this was like a challenge to kind of create something mobile. And I did again telling stories about women. I love talking about topics like this. But that's one initiative. But there are tons of other community projects, right? You have like Sports this Sunday if you love sport. I see some Man City fans in the call, like but there's so many, like there's games night Viz, there's back to Viz basis. I would particularly recommend this for people that are just starting out. It's very beginner friendly and very easy to enter. So I'd recommend that. But there's so many different themes, and check out like tableau.com/community project if you are curious to enter or start one. And tip time, be consistent. I think you can only get better with anything that you pour in, like timing. Like you have to do your time essentially, and this is like everything in life. So definitely like be consistent in whatever you decide to do and share your work. I know sharing can be scary, but like sharing is a fantastic way to grow. So you can share it on Tableau Public, social media, user group, like reach out to Lauren, or like any of the like leaders. Say if you want to speak in Lagos TUG, or like speak at your school, at work. I do that at work as well. But you can also share it on like some typical portfolio sites like Behance, Pinterest, literally anywhere. Just put yourself out there and then challenge yourself. I think one thing that started to happen for me with Makeover Monday was I started to say, okay, you know what? When I built up my confidence with the tool, like with Tableau, I started to now every week pick a new challenge for myself. So it could be like this week, I wanted to experiment with color. I wanted to try a different technique, a different chart type, an advanced feature that seen somebody tweet about. And so just by challenging myself to like do specific things was a great way for me to grow. Another thing was I also started experimenting with other tools. Like for example, I would use like Figma, which is like a design tool sometimes to build out some design elements to then bring back into Tableau. I would use like Python to process my data set or even get data. So just like combining different tools as well as a way to challenge yourself beyond Tableau itself. And if you're just like you know like challenges are not for me, I don't like the restriction because they provide you the data set sometimes and things like that, well, you can just pack all of that aside and do personal projects. Personal projects are a fantastic way to push yourself because you try to find the data sets, you think about the story, the narrative, you have 100% creative freedom, which could be a good thing or a scary thing, depending on who you are. But again, I will encourage you to like try out personal project. So this is one personal project that I did about Scrabble. It's so silly. Like I just looked at all the two-letter words in Scrabble and the scores. My mom and I love playing Scrabble. Like that's one of my core memories with her. So I was like, you know what, this is fun. Let me just put it in the dashboard, and that's exactly what I did. Again, like I didn't need a challenge to tell me to do this. It was a personal project. And then, of course, music has to be involved. I did this particular one about Travis Scott, one of my favorite American artists, and just looked at his discography. So each color you see here represents his albums, and then like also attributes of his song, things like the energy of his song, the speechiness, the acousticness, like the emotional valence of his songs. And I just put all of that into a dashboard. This is one of my favorite dashboards. I actually have it hung on my wall here. But yeah, so this got featured in Tableau's Viz Gallery. So Viz Gallery is a thing that is done at every Tableau conference where they exhibit some or highlight some visualizations. This particular year was virtual, and that my Travis Scott visualization got featured. I thought that was super cool. And I actually think that it was this particular Viz that someone saw when they reached out to me on LinkedIn in 2020 and said, you know, hi Zainab, I work for Spotify. I saw your Tableau profile online. I love your dashboards, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to come work for us? I was like, stop it. You're joking, because Spotify is literally my dream company. But, you know, I could have been lucky, could have been a coincidence. But I remember, like, at this time, I already had like 80 visits on my portfolio by doing Makeover Monday. I'd gotten like Biz of the Day like 7 times, you know, Tableau featured author, Tableau public, all of that. So really, as much as like there's like some luck involved or like the stars managed to align for me, it's really like a lot of dedication, consistency. I've put in the work, and all of that really boosted my visibility to not only unlock access to opportunities for me, but to actually allow those opportunities come directly to me. So like sharing your work, I would never understate that. Like it's a great way to put yourself out there and connecting with the community. Because of course, like all of this, I doubt the impact of my work would have been possible without having the community, just creating these initiatives and creating these avenues to share and just to do fun things. So definitely helped me. And so yeah, in 2021, packed my bag again from Nigeria to Sweden, because like Spotify's headquarters was in Sweden or is in Sweden. And yeah, to start at Spotify. And I mean, one thing led to the other. Thankfully, I made it through like the hectic 6 or 5 rounds of interview. And I've been at Spotify for 3 years now. My role, I do a lot of different things. I still build dashboards at work, but I do a lot of like metrics work, deep data exploratory analysis. If you want more details about that, feel free to chat to me personally. But yeah, this is my own story, and like I've shared some tips that helped me, and I just hope that also something I've said today resonates with at least one person in the room or on the call. And if you're also thinking about a different kind of path that is not data visualization, so say for example, you're more interested in like experimentation, like A/B testing, which is still in the analytics spectrum, I would just recommend taking everything I've said from the beginning. So like looking for a course to do, finding the community in that field, connecting with people online, offline, consistency, sharing your work, getting feedback. I recommend you just apply all of that into that particular new field, and definitely you will see some results, you boost some confidence, and hopefully like unlock opportunities that will help you to achieve your career dreams. So yeah, that's me. And if you are kind of already like at an experience level or like confident enough with Tableau, one thing that I would say is that do give back to community. I think this is extremely, extremely, extremely important. Like share your knowledge, like even just like tweeting about it, like doing a blog, posting on Instagram, anywhere, I think is so helpful in ways that even you wouldn't imagine. Give others feedback, again, like give talks, presentations, demos. One other thing that the community has given me is boosted my confidence in speaking. Like I don't think I was ever scared of speaking, but I've had so many opportunities to practice, so many avenues to like deliver talks. So there are other like skills that you also pick up just by joining or just by getting involved in the data community. Give a newbie a shout out, like Sarah give me a shout out. So I'm always like, bro, shout someone out, and then keep showing up. I think regardless of how much, you don't have to be like online every day or every time, but just show up in like, you can commit to saying, okay, every Lagos user group that event that happens, I'm going to be there, or I'm going to try my best to show up there, whether in person or online. I think that consistency will help you in ways that you probably don't even know. Um, so yeah, that's me. I gave a longer version of this talk and delved a bit more into like business dashboard, etc. at the Tableau conference. So if you want to kind of watch that, you can scan the QR code, or I think I can also share the slides afterwards. So I'd recommend that you watch the longer version if you are interested. And yeah, this is a recap. Again, learn foundational skills, refine, expand your existing skills, don't like pick up a technical skill and give back to the community. And yeah, thank you so much. That's me. And yeah, I'll stop talking now. Do we have any questions actually?
Yeah, no, we don't have
Okay.
none.
Yeah, well, what I would say is that I please connect with me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I'm always happy to chat, even if you just want like a one-to-one chat about anything, viz, um, non-viz related. Always happy to chat and answer questions. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zainab. That was so cool. I guess like the presentation was so cool that no questions I asked, but
Yeah,
yeah,
really.
I guess everyone relates with it. So we would just want to be very cautious of time. Maureen, we'll just move on to the next part, and with Fisayo, going to be talking about Tableau prep and cleaning your data with Tableau prep. So if you still have questions for Zena, please just pop the questions in the Q&A. We'll still try to ask her the questions before the session is over. But while waiting for that, Fisayo can push next. Thank you, Maureen. I'll stop sharing.
Hi everyone. Should I say good morning or good afternoon or good evening? I don't want to see everyone on this live join from Nigeria, so I won't limit my greeting. So hi everyone. And it's amazing to be here at the first Lagos Tableau User Group. And yeah, we don't have so much time. I should introduce myself, but I'm not good at that. And thank you, Golan. You did some introduction there. That was very good. So yeah, we are going to be discussing Tableau Prep. I'm not sure everyone here knows about Tableau Prep, but I mean, from the name, Tableau Prep it's a data preparation tool that is part of the Tableau ecosystem. So basically, you can use it for your data cleaning, your data transformation, and every other things that you need to do to your data before starting to work with your data. And you understand how critical that actually is. It's a very important thing because it's influences the results of whatever you're doing with your data analysis work, or whatever kind of thing you want to do with your data. So I'm just going to dive in and share my screen. Sorry, no presentation. It's going to be all practical. And I share the data I'll be using. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, it did. So we'll just pop it in the. I'll send it to Maureen, and then she will pop it in the chat. Everyone can have access to it. The link is open to everyone to view and say it. So I'll send it to Maureen, and she'll pop it in the chat. And go on.
All right, thank you very much. So this is my screen. Please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, great. So I'm going to be starting with introducing you to the UI of Tableau Public. I mean, it's a very simple UI, easily relatable. And this is the first page you see when you open your Tableau Public. And on the far left, you see this here. It's called the connection pane. It has this plus icon where you can use to import your data from any data source. There are a whole lot of data sources here, from your text files to your spreadsheets to your server DBMSs, and so many data sources you can actually connect to here. And on this space in the middle, up here, you have your recent flows, right? If you've done any data preparation on Tableau Prep, you're going to see them here. And down here, also, you see sample flows. I mean, these are native to Tableau. And far right, you see training resources right here, right? You can also click this to connect to your data. If you click on this, it also takes you to the same place. And up here, you have your menu where you can have access to opening workflows you've already saved on your computer. You can you can start a new workflow. You can open a workflow you saved to your computer. You can close your workflow and the likes. The edits, you can do your undo and redo down to the help. For your server, you can publish your workflow to Tableau Cloud or Tableau Server. And for the help, I mean, you can see what is here. Here I can view my version of Tableau Tableau Prep here, which is the most recent version, 2024.2.1. And yeah, to get started, we will be connecting to a data source and bringing a first connection. All right, to do that, like I mentioned, we're clicking this, and then our data is in Excel. So right now I'm going to connect to Excel and bring in a data. All right, so here, go down.
Yes.
All right, so can you confirm if this is going to be a follow? I mean, they're going to follow as I do, and they have access
no,
to
you can.
data.
Yeah, they have access, but you can just keep on with what you're doing from your hand. It's recorded, so they can follow
All right,
even
great.
if it's not live. Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. So right here we have different data here. So we're going to be doing some of the, because we don't have so much time, so we're going to be just doing some of the very popular things you would normally do when you're cleaning your data, talking about union, join, doing some cleanings here and there, and then you have your output. All right, so we're going to bring in our first connection into Tableau Prep. All right, so this is, if you're very familiar with the Superstore data set, so this table looks like, or whatever we're doing here, we'll be doing on a data set that looks very much like the Superstore data set. So this is our first connection here, which is an order table from a central region. All right, and I'll be doing some more introduction to the UI, to the user interface of Tableau Prep. So as we proceed, you'll be seeing new screens, and I'll try as much as possible to actually tell you what these things are doing. All right, so here on the left, okay, let me start from the upper part here. Here we have this page that shows our flows. I mean, everything you're doing from cleaning to output is going to be out here. You're going to have them here. And down here, you have, on the left side, you have your settings. I mean, your file settings, whatever file you bring here, whatever connection you have here, you're going to see the settings here. So right here, you have a settings. You can decide to, change the file here, which we are not doing. You can change the header settings. Automatic is good. You can decide to, use a different header. You can decide to select which header, which row your header is on, and where your real data starts from. But I mean, automatic is good here. Down here, you can enable incremental refresh, which is out of the scope of this right now because we have limited time. And to the far right, okay, we still have a table here. So this table is just talking about, right here, we have just one data, one connection here. So all we need is a single table. If you have multiple tables, you can click on this and, you can add some, you can use wildcards here to match the kind of whatever data you have inside your file. But I mean, we don't need this right now. And a data sample, this helps for performance. I mean, you can decide how many rows of data you want to sample here, which is very good for performance. And automatic is also good for here. And lastly, here we have changes. So automatically, okay, what happens in the changes right here is every changes you apply to your data or to your new connection is going to be right here. It's going to be stated here, right? That is basically what happens here. And you can see automatically Tableau has actually added a change, which is every row of the data that is being imported into this place. Tableau actually gave it a row number, which is not needed. So Tableau has added a step here, which is to remove this. And right here on the far right, we have a data preview. So this is a preview of our data here. This is what it looks like. Right here, you can change your data type. You can, I think this should be a string. Can change this to a string because it's a row ID. I mean, you cannot perform any aggregation on that. This should be a string. And far to the right, you can see the different data types. And if you need to change, you can make changes there. Also, on the top of this, you can see you can actually toggle from a data preview to a field list. Right here, you have a field list. It still looks something like the data preview where you can change the data type. You can, you can hide, if you don't need a field, you can hide it, you can remove it. And here you have a preview of whatever is inside this particular field. All right, so that being said, we are going to go ahead to import the other data we need here to, start with our cleaning process. So we're going to go back to the connection, and then we go back to Excel. All right, so the first few data sets we need are the central. Okay, we've imported the central. We need the east. Okay, we can unselect those we don't need. And then open up. Then automatically, Tableau adds them to inside the canvas here, which is where we'll be seeing all of our flows. And one thing that is very interesting about Tableau Prep is it uses the same paradigm as Tableau Public, or Tableau Desktop rather. It uses the same paradigm, the drag and drop. And I mean, if you're very familiar with Tableau Desktop, you will actually find it very easy to use Tableau Prep. You don't even need to be familiar with Tableau Desktop. I mean, most of those things are very, very intuitive. So yeah, we are going to start with a cleaning process. So this is all the data sets. These are the connections we actually imported into Tableau Prep. And to start with our cleaning, there's this little icon at the front of all of them. So we're going to click on this item. It brings out a list. So these are steps you can actually add. You can add the cleaning steps, add new rows to your data, add aggregates, do your pivots, do your join, your union, and the other. But most of the things you're going to be doing is between cleaning and unioning, all right? So for the central region, we are going to add a new cleaning step. So once you add a new cleaning step, it shows this, I mean, the user interface has changed. Apparently, you can see that. And right here, I'll explain what this is showing. In the middle here, we have the profile pane. So this basically shows a summary of your data, right? This is a row ID. It shows a summary of your data, it shows the distribution of your data. So for here, order ID, you can see the distinct order IDs, right? You can see the distinct order IDs, and you can see this is longer than the others. And if you over it, it shows that you have 2 rows of this particular order, which if you want to actually have more information of this, if you click on it, you can see the spread, you can see the distribution across this profile pane. This particular order apparently looks like a duplicate, but I wouldn't really call this a duplicate because I very much understand the data, which means that on the same order ID, which is the same receipt, is carrying different orders. So for this receipt, you can see that furniture was purchased and technology, a product from the furniture category was purchased, and another product from the technology category was also purchased, and you can see their quantity. So this very much shows the distribution of your data. This is what the profile pane does. As well, you can also do some data, transformation here. Like you can change the name of your fields. You can change the data type of your field. And down here, we still have a data grid that shows the data preview. So whatever change you apply here, you see it taking effect right here. So now I'm going to continue with this. So we're going to click on this new step that we've just added and see, I just want you to look through this with me and see if we actually need to, add if we need to clean anything, if there's anything that needs to be cleaned right here. So we're going to look through all of the fields. The row ID looks good. The order ID looks good. The order dates, the data type is good. The customer ID, the product ID, I think we are good here. All right, so we are going to go to the next, which is the South region. So all this data actually have similar types of records inside of them. They contain other records of different regions. So the only difference between this data is they're coming from different regions. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to clean each of those different data sets and union them. We're going to stack them, append them vertically, place them on top of each other. So now we have, since this is good, we are going to look at the South region and see if it needs any cleaning. So I'm going to add another cleaning step here. And I'm going to clean this, to click on that. And then again, we are going to look through if we need to do any cleaning. The row ID here is supposed to be a string. I'm looking from left to right and see if there's anything that needs to be done. Profit sales region. I think this looks good. I think this looks good. All right. If there's anything we need to correct, I mean, we can always come back and make corrections. For the West as well, we are going to have a cleaning process. For the West, now let's go through, let's investigate if we need to do any cleaning here. Okay, I don't think, okay, right here, if you look at sales right here, look at what we have here. This should be numbers, but as you can see, these are all strings. This is strings because it actually has a $ attached to them. I mean, this is very wrong because now we cannot perform anything on this. We cannot perform any aggregation on this. This needs to be cleaned. And in order to do that, we are going to create a calculated field from this. So we can easily create a calculated field by coming to the 3 dots here, and then you're coming down using a custom calculation. And then we can rename this to sales new. We can rename that to sales new and write a calculation here. So since we are removing the dollar, we can use the replace. And yeah. So basically, what does a replace need? It needs whatever the field we are trying to replace, what we are replacing by. So we're replacing the $, replacing the $, with an empty string. And we can close. That should work. All right, valid. So we can apply. And right here, we have this, which has actually replaced this. I mean, now we can remove this. We can click the three dot the same way and remove it. Great. I think this is good. Right. I'll repeat, if there's any other cleaning that needs to be done, we can always go back and do the cleaning. And then we can come to the East region and then add a cleaning step. For the East region, we're changing this to a string. And then looking at the table, okay, look at what we have in the East region. For other regions, we have other dates, but here we don't have other dates. We can see the other dates is actually spread between, is broken into day, year, and month, and we cannot really work with this. So what we're going to have to do is we are going to make a field out of this, and other date field out of this. But then before we do that, we can also still scroll to the right and see if we need to actually do any other transformation here, any other cleaning here. I don't think so. So, all right, we can now add a new calculated field that combines this three, the day, the year, and the month. So we can call this order date. And the calculation that does that should be make date. If you use make date, and it needs the year, the month, and the day, which we have. We're going to use, we have the year. The italicens brings it. We have the day, and the month, which is there, and we have the day. This should work. All right, good. So we have the order date here, and we can apply. We should have a new field, order dates, and save. So we have order date field here, far right, which is great. So now we can remove these ones because we don't need them. The day, the month, and the year. Great, looks like our data is almost ready. So yeah, I should mention that whatever changes you apply to all your data is actually stacked here. I mean, it is lined up here in the order you apply those changes. If you want to remove a change or you want to edit a change, you can do them here. All right. So I think we are done here. And one thing I always tell people to do when they're actually creating their data cleaning flow or their data prep flow is to name their steps. So I'm going to name my steps. So to name your steps, you're just going to double click on the name, and this is going to be central cleaned. I'm going to call this central cleaned. I'm going to name this south cleaned. I'm going to name this west cleaned. And the last one is going to be the east cleaned. Great. So now that we've achieved this, the next thing we want to do is to append our data. We want to union our data. So to union our data, remember I told you the Tableau prep also uses the same paradigm as the Tableau desktop, uses the same model, the drag and drop, and makes it very easy. So what we're going to do is we are going to drag this over this. And once we drag it over this, you can see it gives us an option to join on the right and option to union down here. So I'm going to drag this into the union, and then it's going to give us a new step, which is the union step. We have a new step here. It's called the union step. Now we're also going to union those two other clean steps to this. So we are dragging this on top of this, and then union. Is it union? Let's try it. So now we drag this, and it's giving us a new step, but this is not what we really want. We want this to be added to this, right? We don't really want this. So we can just remove the step. And then instead of that, we're dragging this on top of this, and we are adding it to this union. So we're adding it here, and it joins here. Now we have these three clean steps, union here. Then we're going to do the same thing with here, bring it here, and we're going to add it here. Now we have our unions. Now let's check our union. We're going to click on this step and check our union if everything is great. I'm going to drag this up. All right, so you can see all this color codes actually represent the different places this union data came from, right? So resulting fields, we have 9 mismatched fields from 16 resulting fields. This doesn't look good. Sales new. So we can see a field called sales new. You can remember we renamed the field sales new. That is inconsistent with the other fields. I remember if you're doing your union, all your fields must have the same naming. I mean, they must have the same name. All your fields must have the same names. And your order dates, something is not right here as well. Probably the last order date we created is also not inconsistent with the other ones. Customer ID and down the table. All right, so we are going to see what exactly the problem is. I'm going to click on one of these and go to the profile pane and see. So here, this is the union results. We can click on here to show only mismatched fields so we can see what exactly the problem is. So coming here, we see sales new here and we see sales. So the problem here is the sales new. I mean, the name here is very different from here. So what we can do here is the first thing we want to do is change this to number decimal. And then easily we can just drag this and bring it on top of this. When we drag it on top of this, it says drop to merge fields. And then that has merged. Great. I mean, that is out of here. Then what other one do we have? Here it says customer ID. Okay, this has the naming of this is different. It has an underscore, while this doesn't have an underscore. And we're going to do the same thing. We are going to drag this and bring it here. Just the same way we did that rather. And that looks great. And the same thing for product ID as an underscore. I mean, this came from the East region. All right, we're going to drag it here and we're great. And then now for the region, I think one of those fields has a region. I mean, we don't need that. One of those has regions. I don't think we need that. For the other dates, okay, so we can drag this. You can see, can drag this here and then match it. For the region, we really don't need this, so we can remove it. Or I think one of the regions has a region named. Sorry, coming back here. It's back to the mismatch fields. So one of the regions, we don't need this, so we can remove it. So now there's only one mismatch field, which I think we removed. Error changing field type in step, change sales new. Okay, I think we have a problem here. Field type, where? I think we have to apply that here. Okay, I'm just trying to check where exactly that came from.
I think it is from the sales new. The data type is string. It's supposed to be integer.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to find the region where we did that. We made that change.
I think it's West. I think I saw it now. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, sales new. Thank you very much. So we can just change this to number decimal. Okay, so now here changing field type in step changes to new decimal. Can't find field sales new. Okay, I think we still have the problem here. Okay, so the problem here.
I think Idris, there might be a question for you to ask.
All right, Idris, please shoot. Idris, I can hear you, please.
The row ID question, you can check the chat. Something like.
Can someone just read that?
Okay. The last one, Idris. I think row ID for West is not string yet. I think someone made mention of
row
that.
ID. Oh, yeah, right. We probably end up not using this the row ID. I mean, okay. I just need to be sure what exactly is wrong here. Change type to number decimal. I want to be sure why it's not changing. So I'm going to cancel this step and try to redo that. So I'm going to change this again to normal decimal. Trade detail. Okay, so for West, right? For the West, to be sure what exactly is happening here. Probably should just add a new step here. Probably we are going to remove this. Sales. All right. So let's probably add a new step, a new cleaning step, and see if this is going to work. It should work easily. All right, change. I'm going to remove this. And so I'm thinking we do, so I don't waste time. I think we do our union process all over again and see where this problem actually came from. So from here, I'm going to change the data type right here. The new cells. Normal decimal. No, sorry, not that. So I'm going to change this to normal decimal. All right, please, you can just follow me and see if there's any mistakes we made somewhere. You're having a teamwork right now. If there's something I didn't change, so I'm very sure.
For Sayo, we have about 10 minutes.
All right. Okay, so we can try our union again, and just like I mentioned, we do this, and we bring this in again. We add and bring this back in. We have this, and we can see our results here, and we can see the mismatch. So we're going to make this very fast now. The order date to order date. We are going to do a sales new. I think the sales is good here. Our sales to sales here. Customer ID to customer ID. Product ID to product ID. And then I think we can see a settings here. We still have a sales new, which I think that has been added already since it's singled out here. So we can remove this once, and we can remove the field here. So I think we are good here. So we have the result of our union right here. Yeah, I think we're good right here. So we have the results of our union right here. And then since we have a union, all those fields have been stacked horizontally. Now we can proceed to add a final data set. So our final data set is a data set that contains products. So we have the product name, right? Here we have the product ID. So we are going to do a join that to enable us actually see the names of those products. We are interested in seeing that. So we are going to do this. We are going to do the same thing. Go to add the same way. We add a new connection, which is a product table, and it has the product table to the canvas. All right. Let's see if you have any cleaning to do on the product table. We're adding a cleaning step, and right here we are adding. We are making a join on the product ID. So just the same drag and drop way. I don't think we need to do any cleaning here. Everything looks good. And if we need to do any cleaning, we can always come back. So we are going to do a join right here. I mean, this is a join. So we drag it on the join, and we see a Venn diagram that actually signifies that a join is going on. And right here to the left, we have a join clause. Automatically, Tableau is able to actually recognize the names, and it has done the join for us. And then we have the type of join we want. Is it an inner join, a left join, or whatever kind of join? So right here, it is doing, it did an inner join, but I mean, there's some of those data sets, I mean, some of those rows that actually did not match. We might actually be interested in seeing all the records from our union, I mean, all the records from our other tables. So we might actually be interested in doing a left join and see more. So right here, we can see that about 135 orders right here actually did not match with this. I mean, this is not a real data set. This is created of ChatGPT just for the purpose of this. So I mean, a whole lot would be wrong with this data, and this cleaning is just, I mean, doing it on the fly right here. So we can see a whole lot of the excluded right here shows that 135 different records actually didn't match with the union. I mean, they match, which means that we have 135 products here that did not match, or that does not match with the other table here, right? And I mean, this is right as we did a union, and we have 50 different records for each of the regions. So 20 is about right. And then we can, come right here. So right here, we have the result of our join on here. I mean, I really wish I have enough time, because it's just about 5% or less than 10% hypothetically of what Tableau Prep can actually do. But then if there are any questions, I mean, you can always reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Twitter, or whatever, and we can always, have discussions about this. So right here, this join has been done. We have the join, we have done a union, we have done a join. But something really surprising here is the reason why we actually have so much data that's excluded here. And something is telling me that we might actually need to do some data cleaning around our product name. So I'm going to check our products real quick. Something must be wrong somewhere. Since we are joining off here, I'm going to see probably we need to do some stripping. All right, so we're going to go to our clean and trim paste spaces. Probably we have some white spaces, and see if it reduced that. So I'm going to go back to this and see. Most likely, yeah, great. So you can see now just 22 has been excluded. So if you go to inner join, we're doing an inner join here, and see we have just 22 exclusions, which is actually great. I mean, I was not going to make that to think, I mean, a whole lot of records actually didn't match. All right, so now we have the result of our join. Just this means that 22 products were actually not purchased from here, and many other products were purchased, since there's 0 exclusions here. And right here, we have the result of our join. And now that this is done, we can add one more step, which is our output step. All right, so this is always the end of your flow. When your flow is done, you had an output step, and this is the output step. All right, so this is your entire flow. And to run this flow, you can, you can click this button to run the flow, which is run flow. You can click it here, you can click it here. But before you do that, there's this output settings right here where you can choose where you want your output to go. I mean, where you want your flow to go. Or you can, right here, you can also save the kind of file you want to create. You can decide to publish your data to what's it called, to the server or to the cloud. You can make it just a file, like a CSV, an XLSX, or whatever. You can say to CRM analytics or whatever. But right here, we are using a file, and you can name this. We can name it other and products, and then we can specify the kind of file we want. Hyperfile is the Tableau extract kind of file, which actually handles large volume of data very well. This is not what we need. So we need XLSX or CSV. So I would just say we need, I'll just go with CSV right here. And then, yeah, that's all about what we need here. Since we're not doing any type of refresh, we can run our flow. So right here, if I run our flow, it is saved on premise, it's saved on the computer, and I can always use the data. But right here, if I want to push it to the cloud, I can use publish data source. It publishes to the cloud or the server, where whoever person interested in the data in your company or your team can actually get access to the data sets. All right. And this flow also, you can come here to also push the flow. I mean, this particular flow, you can come here to push it to the server as well, or to the cloud. I mean, where you can do some schedule refresh, and whenever new record is actually added to any of this your data set, it runs through the same flow and give an output. So that is all about this. I wouldn't know if there are any questions. I just had to really rush this because
Yeah, sure. I think Idris has questions for you. Yeah.
All right. Idris, can you throw your questions, please?
No question.
There's a question in the Q&A, Idris.
Q&A?
The most recent one.
Yeah, they said, how can the knowledge of SQL help in Tableau Prep?
Well, SQL, most of the things we actually do with SQL has to do with Tableau, data preparation, to be very honest. And one thing I try to identify here are some of the things we do very often when doing data preparation, which is, cleaning, which is joining, unioning, and some other things, right? If there was time, I would have shown, how to pivot, how to do some other things like doing summary, like doing your summation and whatever arithmetic you want to do on your data set. So, your knowledge of SQL cuts across almost all the data things you're doing, because if you're going to join two data sets, you need to join those two data sets on a particular linking field. If you're going to union two data sets, those two data sets must actually have the same fields. You cannot just union. And that was one of the problems I actually ran into why we were trying to do our union, because a particular sales field was, the naming was inconsistent with the naming of the other fields, the other sales fields on the other tables. So the data of the knowledge of SQL is actually very, very good, because you can apply it to so many things you can do, not just in Tableau, but everywhere you find yourselves in the world of data.
Idris, there's one more by Miriam.
Okay. The question is if there's a way to integrate Python scripts with Tableau and run automation reports.
With Tableau Prep or Tableau Desktop.
Okay, if there is a way to integrate Python script that will run against a non-rational database for your report automation in Tableau, connecting a Tableau to a non-DB is not as effective as connecting, as the connection always breaks and suspend.
Are you still asking the question, Idris?
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand the question also.
Okay.
Can Miriam talk and explain further?
Okay.
Yes, let me just give access for her to do that. Yeah. Miriam, you can ask a question quickly. We have very little time left. She's here. All right.
Hi, Miriam.
She's not responsive, so I guess she would probably send a message to you on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Right, my DMs are always open. I would really like to understand the question.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Hi, Miriam. Yes.
Hi, okay. Thanks for organizing this. So I would like to ask if there is a way to integrate a Python script that will connect to the database as well as be running an automation for Tableau reporting, because connecting Tableau directly to a non-relational database, the automation always got suspended after 5 failures. So I'm kind of trying to if there is a way to have a middle interaction between Tableau as well as the database in such a way that the Python will be like pulling the data, the Python script will be pulling the data from the database, as well as powering the pulled data in the Tableau. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to like.
Yeah, so Python is
in
going to be,
non-relational, okay.
so you mean Tableau is going to be like a middle part that is
No,
broken
Python
between,
script will be like the middle part.
yeah,
Now,
that's
the Python script will be
join.
running against the DB, as well as powering the reporting in Tableau. Is like a live connection. Like, it's not as if it will just pull the data and just that's all. It's like a live connection, right? Where there is kind of like an extract that will be refreshing after maybe an hour, every hour, or every 2 hours. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to.
So Miriam, thank you very much for that question. So I think I understand what you're trying to say. So Python is like a middleware between Tableau and whatever database it is or whatever data source the data is coming from.
Yes,
And
exactly.
Tableau could actually pull that data, I mean, automatedly, could pull that data into probably a staging area where Tableau can actually pick that up from, where
You get.
Tableau actually has easy access to pick that up from, which is very, very actually possible. So I explained that here. You have a flow like this. You can publish your flow to the Tableau cloud or Tableau server. And when you do that, you can do something we call a schedule refresh, right? So depending on how you want it done, it could be every day, could be at a particular time every day, could be every week, could be every month, right? So once new data is once Python pulls the data from the data source, it adds it to the data to the staging area, whatever Python is taking the data to, and a new record is added. Tableau is going to pick it up at a particular time and refreshes this particular flow. Once it refreshes this particular flow, then your data source is actually your data is refreshed. I don't know if that answers your question. So I think that is
Yeah,
very important.
we don't have much time. Miriam, you can reach out to
So
Fisayo
Miriam, we can
or
have that
Michael.
conversation after.
Yes, yes. So you can have that conversation after this.
All right.
Thank you
you
very
very
much. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you very much, Michael. That was really, really insightful. You could stop sharing now.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Maureen, you might want to share. All right, guys. So I hope this was really, really insightful for everyone. I hope we had a beautiful time. First from talking about community projects and building up yourself in Tableau in the data space with Zainab, to then having Michael talk about Tableau prep, showing us some, union joins, cleaning, checking for inconsistencies in data. And first, this is to say thank you to everyone for really attending. This is the first time we are doing this. And so definitely this is probably going to be the worst we get at it. So we keep improving. And we want you to go on LinkedIn and Twitter to, follow Lagos TUG on X, subscribe particularly to our YouTube channel, just in case you miss any session. It's always going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel no long after. Share, tweet, post, talk about your experience in this Tableau user group. Try to invite more friends. It's a very inclusive community, not just for people in Lagos, but all over Nigeria, all over the data farm as well. We want everyone to be part of what we're trying to do. We want everyone to connect with. You can follow Maureen. The link to the slide is also in the material. We'll probably send everything to everyone through email after the session. Link to the recording and to the materials that was used. So please do well to follow myself, Maureen, Idris, Michael, Zainab, Kende. We have Israel in the chat also communicating with everyone. Israel, that's thank you. And also Victory, they're also helping us respond in the chat and Q&A. So thank you very much, everyone. We generally have Twitter spaces every third Saturday of the month to discuss the next event we are going to have. Maureen, if you don't mind sharing again. Sorry. Almost done. So we generally have Twitter spaces every third Saturday of the month to discuss the next event we're going to have. This is usually between myself, Maureen, Idris, Fisayo, Kende. Israel. It's a very open conversation thing. We get to discuss. You can ask questions. You can ask what topics you'd like to see in the future, and then we get to look for speakers that would get to come around about those topics. So we're looking to have a physical event in the next few coming months. So stay tuned. Follow and join the channel by scanning this QR code so you're updated with our next events, and join us to enhance your skills, collaborate with enthusiasts, and be part of a dynamic, vibrant group that is looking to change the face of how Tableau and data is being used in Lagos and Nigeria as a whole. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to this. We are very much happy to have you, and see you soon, most especially in August.